Hi friends, this is Ramakrishna Reddy. Now in this class we will discuss how to prepare UPSC. Okay, as a human being, everyone will have the certain aspirations. Okay, to become IAS, IPS, collector, doctor. Any ambition anybody will be having in their lifetime. So UPSC provides an opportunity to become a IAS or IPS. So before going into becoming IAS or IPS, how to start this preparation, how to succeed in those journey into the IAS or IPS ambition. So before going into how to prepare UPSC, there are certain subjects we need to understand rather than by heart or to well versed in those subjects. See, as a collector or IPS, they will have to perform certain generalist duties rather than specific duties. Like if doctor will perform only medication, such type of duties. Engineer will do particular duties. But as a IAS or IPS, they have to perform various duties in their course of journey in the as a servant, public servant. So now we will discuss how many subjects we need to study in those preparation. See, first before going into the preparation, which subjects we will discuss study in the UPSC preparation. See, there are various subjects we need to study. See, first we need to study polity, history. We will discuss in detail in due course of time. Economy, geography. Okay, see, if any one of you are studied as a CEC or HEC or BA in your graduation, you can understand what is polity, what is history, what is economy and what is geography. Apart from these four subjects, you need to study, you need to understand science and technology. So simply we can say S&T and current affairs. So we can say CNA in short form, current affairs. So these are we will study in a paper 1 preparation. See, before going into this, we will need to know some more details. Okay, in UPSC preparation, there are in prelims 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. See, paper 2 is exclusively CSAT, Civil Services Civil Service Aptitude Test. Okay, so first one is general studies. In this general studies, we will study all these subjects. So we are aware of which subjects we will study in the first paper and which papers we will study in the second paper. So we will discuss what things we will study to succeed in this civil service prelims examination. So we will discuss what we will study in the CSAT. So this is regarding the first paper preparation. These subjects we will study in the first paper. In the second paper, that is called paper 2 or civil service aptitude test. So this is the thing. In this one, earlier it was a scoring paper. Now we have to understand that it is only qualifying nature. We are aware of every paper will have 200 marks. So in this one, we need to get only qualifying marks of 35% for general category, 35% to OBC, 40% to general category. It means OC. So remaining category is 30%. This is the percentage of marks we need to get in the CSAT paper. But in the first paper, there is no such type of qualifying nature. Whichever marks you get, it means you get more marks, you are in a possibility of clearing the UPSC prelims. That is the criteria. So which subjects we will study in this CSAT? So in CSAT, like paper 1, we will study such type of papers like general English, English comprehension. So in this general English also we will study certain grammar, certain comprehension, arithmetic, reasoning, decision making, we can say simply D and M. So such type of subjects we will study in the CSAT preparation. So this is the regarding general idea about which papers we will study to clear the UPSC prelims examination as well as mains and interview. So now we are discussing only regarding prelims. So now we will discuss in detail in the first paper which subjects we will study and how we will study those subjects. So I will start with the first paper preparation with polity, because every human being in society will have certain idea regarding who is prime minister, who is chief minister, who is governor, who is president, who is MLA and who is MP, who is council of ministers. Likewise, in day-to-day affairs you will be come across these names. So we will discuss how we need to study polity. So what is this polity? Polity means day-to-day affairs of the government. So to understand this polity, we need to be aware of certain history of India. Okay, as a country we were under the control of Britishers from 1600 to 1947. Okay, during this period we were under the control of Britishers. They were ruling us during this period. So after we became independent country as a India, to rule ourselves we need to have certain documents. Okay, how president works, how prime minister works, how MLA works. Likewise we need to have certain idea. So that's why we need to have certain documents. So the document, entire documents called constitution. So this constitution is not prepared in a 1947 August 15th itself, because on that day we got our independence. On that day it is not prepared. To prepare the document, they have taken 2 years, 11 months, 18 days. Remember, certain examinations they will be asking this time period. So all exams they will not be asking, but we need to remember how many years they have taken to prepare this constitution, right? So this is the thing regarding the constitution. So after we became independent in August 15th, 1947, it was prepared on 1950 November 26th. Okay, on that day it was prepared, but on that day it is not came into the existence. So it came into the existence on 1950th January 26th. Sorry, it was prepared in 1949 November 26th. It came into the picture on January 26th 1950. So remember, you may be having certain doubts. What is independence? What is Republic Day? So we got our independence on 1947 August 15th. It is called Independence Day. We got our independence from the Britishers. But on this day we adopted our own constitution. So that is called Republic Day. Because, so again you need to understand what is Republic Day. So Republic, so Republic means head of the state. Here head of the state means either president or governor. If we will discuss in detail. So head of the state is directly or indirectly elected by the people. So if you take in India, our president indirectly elected by the people, so that it will satisfy this definition republic. So India became a republic on 1958 January 26. So after we became republic country, we are having a certain document that is called constitution. So what we will study in that constitution? Okay, so it will start from 1857 to 1947 in paced manner. Okay, so as a Indian, you may be aware of what is 1857. Okay, Sipai Mutiny, or it is called First War of Independence. It was happened. So on this basis, Indians thought we can get our independence from mighty British Empire in due course of time. Okay, single Sipai invaded against the mighty British Empire to became free from those foreign hands. So that is why it is called First War of Independence. So in this polity we will study this time period, okay, which acts came into the picture, how it is enacted. Likewise we will be studying in this polity. So this is regarding briefly history content in the polity. So we will discuss history again. So what we will study in polity? First one is constitution making. Okay. So in the constitution making, while discussing in history, we will discuss this constitution making because it will be overlapping between polity and history. That's why I am restricting myself to discuss history in this context. So after this constitution making, we will study India as a union, India and its states. See again, geographical conditions we will study in the geography content. Now also I am restricting myself to discuss these things. After that, fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Okay, so these are the fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy. So we will discuss these things. Under union government, state government, state government, union state relations or center state relations. Okay, union state. So after that, union territories, you can say UTs, scheduled areas, scheduled tribal areas. See, there is a difference between scheduled areas and tribal areas. Okay, so scheduled areas is one thing, tribal areas is another thing. So these are the again union judiciary, state judiciary, state judiciary, okay. So these are the things. Again, Panchayat Raj institutions, so certain other things in due course of time we will be studying. So now we will discuss certain part on the syllabus in polity, that is the union government. See, I am writing in a shortcut manner. Remember, we no need to write all these things because of these things. Okay. So union government. In union government, basically we will be studying president, parliament, or simply we can say union executive, union legislature. Okay. So again in union executive we will discuss certain things. Union legislature we will discuss certain things. In the part of this parliament we will discuss certain things. So remember, now we are discussing something about the parliament. It is part of union legislature. So in India we are having two houses. That's why it is called bicameral legislature. In certain countries they are having only one house. That's why they are calling as a unicameral legislature. India, as a parliamentary form of government, they are having two houses. One is upper house and one is lower house. So upper house represent the states and certain UTs, whichever having the state legislature. I mean, certain union territories having the legislatures, means assemblies. So upper house represents states and certain union territories which are having the legislatures like states. All union territories are not having the state legislatures. Remember, okay? Only two states are having the union territories having the union legislatures. So what is these two houses and how they are composing? One is upper house, so that is called Rajya Sabha. Second one is lower house. It is also called Lok Sabha. So how they will be composing? First we will discuss lower house. It is also called popular house because in this house all the MPs. Remember, those who are electing to the state legislatures, they are called MLAs. MLAs means member of legislative assemblies. For this lower house, certain members, representatives will be elected. Those members are called MPs, means member of parliament. Member of parliament may be from the lower house or upper house. That's why both houses are called parliament. That's why these members are called as a member of parliament. So how this composition is? In the Lok Sabha, maximum strength is 552. Okay, if you take our Lok Sabha, this maximum strength is 552. Beyond that, we cannot represent the member of parliament because that is the condition we have enacted while making the constitution. But you may have the doubt, sir, once we got our independence in 1947, then we were having only 30 crores of population. Now it is becoming 130 plus crore population. Yes, your doubt is correct. That's why we have enacted the Delimitation Commission. Okay, till now 5 times this Delimitation Commission established. This Delimitation Commission established whenever Election Commission thinks that they are not accommodating the entire population. So to accommodate those population, with the request of this parliament, they will delimit the constitution, and through the constitutional amendment they will enhance this number. Okay, so while making of constitution, they have adopted this number. In due course of time, this number may be changing. Okay, so remember, now this number is 552. Beyond that, they cannot represent. So how these 552 members elected? See, questions may be asking in UPSC preparation. What is the highest number of MPs can be elected to the Lok Sabha. So that is the number you are aware of. In the mains examination, they will be asking why Indian Lok Sabha having only this 552 numbers, can't we change this number? So then you have to give your explanation how I am given now. Okay, it means then we have adopted basis of that population. Once this population is increasing, then we can accommodate. To do that process, we need to do two things. First, they have to get consideration from the parliament. Then whenever they make constitutional amendment, then that number would be increasing and the election commission accommodate to that number. That is the criteria. So how these 552 members elected? See, in these 552 members, 530 members has to be elected from the state legislatures. Okay, what is this state legislature? So in India, how many states are we having? At present, we are having 29 states, including Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so to account these 530 members has to be elected from these 29 states. So this is the thing. Beyond that, they cannot represent. That is the thing. So remaining 22 members. 20 members have to be elected from the legislatures from the union territories which are having. So how many members are electing from the union territories? 20 members. In these 20 members has to be elected from these union territories. So you may have the doubt at present. So sir, we are having 9 union territories. How they can accommodate these 20 members? See, no need to worry about this number. Only in India, 2 union territories we are having state legislatures. Those are the things, Delhi and what is another one? Pondicherry. Okay. So 530 members has to be elected from states. 20 members has to be elected from union territories. Which union territories? Whichever union territories having state legislatures, means assemblies. At present, we are having only these 2 union territories having legislatures. In due course of time, we may have another union territories also. See, remember, recently one thing happened. Daman Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli become only 1 union territories. See, these are the certain current affairs things you need to remember. So here number might be decreasing from 9 to 8. Okay. So these things happens. So you need to observe those things also while studying the polity. So this is the number, that 530, 20. So what will happen these 2 members? So these 2 members would be elected from the Anglo-Indian community. So who are the Anglo-Indian community? In the starting the class, my class, I have discussed regarding the Britishers. So who are they? They are the foreigners came to India and ruled certain period of time. So apart from these Britishers, certain other country fellows also ruled India over a period of time. So those are the called Britishers, Frenchians, okay, Dutch, now present Netherlands, okay. Another one is Portuguese. So you can see these communities in India also. At present in Goa you can see these Portuguese communities. So these country fellows settled in India. They may have certain problems like we are having as Indians. They are also will be having certain problems. So to accommodate their problems and to address their issues, certain representatives are required. For that reason, whenever Anglo-Indian communities, Anglo-Indian, because basically they are Anglos, they are settled in India. That's why they are calling Anglo-Indians. So to accommodate them, president, whenever president thinks their representation is nil in the parliament, not parliament, only Lok Sabha. Whenever he thinks that there is no representation to the Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha, then president can nominate two fellows, two members to this Lok Sabha. So this is composition is over. 530 members from Lok Sabha, 20 members from Rajya Sabha, 2 members from Anglo-Indian community. So this is the composition. So how many years they can be having their membership in the Lok Sabha? So this is called tenure. So their tenure depends on the government existence. So here you may have the doubt. So till now we have not discussed what is this government. After elections, we will form the government basis of whichever party will get the more seats. So here 552 members are there. Among these 552 members, whichever party will get more seats, then they will form the government. So their tenure, actually their tenure is 5 years. Okay, 5 years. During the emergencies, at a once they will increase the 1 year tenure, 1 year period. So it was happened during 1975 to 77. Then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi increased this tenure to 7 years rather than 5 years. So it will happen whenever emergency conditions exist. So this 5 years generally, okay. So during emergencies, by making resolution, 1 year they can increase at once. So likewise they will be increasing any number of years. There is no certain type of limitations to increase this tenure of Lok Sabha members. So this is the specific condition. Usually, see, certain times they will be asking in the UPSC examination, what is the tenure of Lok Sabha? Then we will be having certain confusion, okay, whether it is 5 years or 6 years or 4 years. So no need to confuse. Generally Lok Sabha members tenure is 5 years. Whenever emergencies are there, then we cannot say how many years it will be exist. So that is the thing. That's why we have to answer only 5 years. That is the thing. So these are the special conditions. So this 5 years also depends on the existence of government. Take for example, among these 552 members, no party got the majority number. It means 271 or 276. So majority number is 277. No party got this number. With this clear majority means whenever this number got in his party, they will form the government. So no party formed got these seats. All parties got break mandate. Remember. So then they will form a coalition. Whenever this coalition government is there, then this government existence of government depends on these coalition partners. Here coalition means combination of certain political parties. So this thing depends on the party's satisfaction. So if you take during the Vajpayee government, this was collapsed only within 13 days. Likewise happens. So during that period, you may question, sir, actually it is 5 years. Why they have only in power 13 days? Because of this coalition condition. So this number may be changing. See, remember in the polity we may be having certain confusing things because this document is prepared by the legal luminaries. That's why we need to understand in a clear manner while we studying the polity. Okay. So now we have discussed what is the Lok Sabha, composition of Lok Sabha, tenure of Lok Sabha. This is the thing we have to study. See, in next class we will discuss how to study remaining topics. Thank you.